Hello everyone, it's me, Nancy Finch, doing another Tea with Nan on a Monday at 12 o'clock. It's been a while since I've been on here, a couple of weeks. And I'm sorry I wasn't on here last week. It was because it was my birthday. It was a special birthday. So on a Monday, my favourite day. So I was very pleased to be doing something quite different as well. I do love doing these though. And so I'm back after 2 weeks. So welcome. I hope some people can share this with their friends and maybe inspire them. My cat just gone out of the room. Maybe inspire them with a little bit of positivity for a Monday. And as you know, Mondays are my favourite days. And I'm feeling like spring today. And it's a spring cup. It's beautiful. It's yellow. And as you can see, I'm wearing yellow. And yellow is a lovely colour for me because it represents being happy and powerful and in control of everything. So I hope you've got a nice cuppa and you can have a little chat with me as I'm talking about our subject today. Nobody's on here just yet, but I think a lot of people have forgotten that I'm doing these now. After 2 weeks, I'm out of sight, out of mind. Today is all about choose not to be offended. There's so many things that we can be offended by, isn't there? We think about it, we're taught to be offended, really. We judge things, so, you know, things around us, and we're quite reactive to that judgment. You know, that person shouldn't treat me that way, and that person said this, or whatever that situation is. We tend to be reactive, and then once we start being reactive, we start sort of learning how to be more reactive because we're used to being reactive. So it causes like a ripple effect, and we teach people around us to be reactive as well. So we start thinking, oh, well, that's wrong, and we judge it, and that's wrong, and that person shouldn't say this, and that person shouldn't treat me this way. And before you know it, as I say, we are stuck in that reaction. And then the next time someone offends you on the road, like road rage or a family member, I'll give you a whole list in a minute, I'm sure you've got your own, but as soon as you start looking to be offended, then you will be offended. And I know I used to be one of those people that took everything personally. It was always the same. I took it every single day that in my life, actually, I'd find something to take personally. And it wasn't easy. It's because my inner child always felt offended and little and insignificant, and I never really saw my value. And so people around me that weren't really reflecting my values and what I saw around me, I'd be offended by. Today is really about acceptance. Oh, somebody's joined us. Happy Monday, hugs to you. Oh, it's Kerry. Oh, that's lovely that you're here, darling. I thought I was talking to myself for a minute. I'm glad you're here. Happy Monday, darling. And I shall see you soon, I believe. Yes. So choose not to be offended. Choose not to be. It's difficult. Some people say, but I can't help myself. You know, I'm hurt by this, or I'm feeling bad about this. And if you were to just pause for a moment. Oh, that's nice, Kerry. Big heart to you, darling. So if you choose not to be offended for a moment, you actually are in control. Because if you're reacting to that thing, that stimulus around you, you know, whatever that is that has caused a reaction inside you, you are at the will of what's going on. You know, your power is being given away, and you really need to just think, no, I'm going to keep my power. I'm going to rise above it for a second, and I'm just going to breathe out that reaction. So I'm in control of what I'm thinking from that moment, and I'm choosing not to be offended. It's a really nice, peaceful acceptance of the situation. If you realise it's not personal, it defines a person who behaves that way. You know, it's a lovely thing to realise that we're all different, and our values are all different according to how we were brought up, our situations, where we live, etc. So we all have different reasons that we behave in the way we do. And I think about myself a few years ago. I had different ways of looking at life, and now I think of life completely different. Oh, hi Val, thank you for joining us, darling. You know, we think back, I'm talking to you as well, Val, and everybody. You know, we've changed our lives as we go through our experiences, and sometimes we look back and we think, oh, why was I overreactive about this, or why did I take it personally about this or this? And we realize that we were just stressing ourselves or worried about the situation, and that brought our emotional balloon down. It made you less effective, made you less happy. I know I was one of those people, and as I say, I'd look to be offended in a way of kind of surviving. We do that sometimes. We think, oh, I must be protecting myself. You know, I know people that suffer, go back to road rage. I know people that suffer a lot because they feel their values are not being respected, or they're not being not being honoured on the road, and it's their right of way, and it's just, and I must defend myself. And I see a lot of people, because of fear, they get angry. It's the same thing, really. When we're angry, we're actually fearful. So I watch a few people behaving that way on the road. It's a very good example when they look around. Oh, obviously there's others. There's family and work and friends and neighbours. Don't forget our neighbours. I'm really lucky. I've got the most amazing neighbours. But some people haven't. And you've got to consider that they will rile you. They will upset you. They will trigger you. They will make you feel angry and offended. Yes, certainly. Some people, if you think back, I've chosen to be offended. Well, actually, there's another way of looking at it. You can realise that if they're angry and if they're hostile towards you, quite often they're afraid. And we are too if we react in the same way. So think about that. We don't need to be that reactive. We need to rise above it so we can see it properly for how it really is, and maybe have compassion for another person, as well as see in another way how we are in our own life right now. What are we attracting? I'll give you a funny example. The other day, I'd already written this out, so this was quite a nice story to add to this talk. But I was on a roundabout just a few days ago, and I consider myself to be a fairly safe driver. And I'm on this roundabout, and this van comes up, and he sort of just missed me by this, coming onto the roundabout, and I was there, and of course it was my right of way. So I'm thinking, what did you do that for? And he's waving a fist, and he's shouting and swearing, and he's pointing to where he wanted to go. And I thought, well, that's very strange. I mean, I'm on the roundabout and he's having a go at me. So I thought, now that's unjust, right? Okay, I'm being judged harshly. And I felt for a bit amused. Obviously, I smiled at him and just went on. And I thought, now, obviously, he's in a really bad state of anxiety. He needed to be somewhere. And for a moment, I was there in his way. And I realised, so I sort of felt compassionate towards him, thinking, well, he's obviously very stressed, very angry, and very afraid of not being in control of his life. That's simple. So it took away some of the sting of being shouted at. My little inner child was going, oh, why did he shout at me? You see, we can take it personally. Our inner child takes it personally when someone is behaving badly towards us. And so in a way, I'm really glad that happened, because I was able to show compassion. By doing that, I was able to calm that reaction down, and I was in control. And of course, I sort of sent him love, really. I thought he's obviously needing a little bit of support, so I sent him love. Oh, Joe, it's nice that you've joined us. Happy Monday, darling. So I thought, I'm not going to take it personally. But after that, I'm thinking, now everything on the outside of us is a mirror, okay? Believe it or not. And we attract what we need to deal with from people we have around us. So the very first thing I thought as an example to this is, why did I attract someone to judge me so badly? Oh, hi, Sam. Thank you for joining us, sweet. Oh, just made it, says Joe. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, happy Monday to you all. And don't forget to share this with your friends. They really might need it on a Monday. And I haven't been here for 2 weeks, so share it. So I was thinking to myself, why was I attracting someone who was judging me, giving me a hard time on the road, when actually it wasn't my fault? So why was I attracting that? So, because everything is something that brings us some gifts, isn't it? And it shows up from something you're feeling on a subconscious level. So, oh, hi, Del. Thank you for joining us. Big heart to you, darling. So I thought, why am I attracting someone who is shouting at me, judging me, angry at me? Okay, why was I feeling those things towards myself? I had no idea. I had no idea I was actually feeling those feelings until that was shown to me by my mirror outside. So I thought, okay, am I angry at me? Am I judging me? Am I being hard on myself? And you know what? After a minute or two, I realised I actually was. On a deeper subconscious level, it came to mind that I was judging myself because I hadn't done that job, I hadn't done this, I hadn't done that. Things that I've been building up and putting it to the bottom of my mind, or the back of my mind. Oh, hi, Sophie. Big hug to you, my darling. So these things I hadn't really dealt with. And on another level, and Vicky's here as well. So I hadn't dealt with those things I said I was going to do. And I've always been a person that's been quite hard on myself if I don't get a job done. So I've always pushed myself too hard. A lot of people listening to this will join me on that. So on another level, I was judging myself. I was a bit cross at myself for not getting stuff done. So of course, I was able then to understand why I attracted that on the outside of myself. So when I had that person shouting and doing a fist at me, I'm thinking, well, that was a good indication I needed to deal with compassion towards myself as well as him. So I did. I realized, okay, I had a little chat with myself. You'll get that done. You'll get that done. Don't be too hard on yourself. You've had a busy time, and a bit more compassion and understanding for myself. And you become your own best friend when you do that. You talk to your inner child and you support your inner child with love and understanding and compassion. And suddenly you find that your outside world will be much better. This talk isn't exactly all about that, but it is about the gifts in life. And when you see someone being hard, or you hear someone in your family or friends or whatever, oh, Joe loves this. Thank you, darling. It's a really good example of what we need to change within ourselves, don't you think? And Joseph, you know about this as well. You do. You're wise enough to understand that what we attract in our consciousness is what we need to deal with in ourselves. So we have to choose not to be offended with something of some situation around us. Family, friends, work, neighbours. There seems to be one thing or another that we're always offended by. A lot of people I know complain about their relationships with their neighbours if we live in close communities. And we've all had experiences. Every one of us has had an experience of being offended by any one of those things on the board. Family, I'm offended they haven't done this, they haven't done that. Family, friends, ex relationships, current relationships. Relationships are a good one. We always become, well, a lot of people become offended by that relationship that's not giving them what they would like to give. Yes, and the Lucky 7 has been working wonders. Lucky to have your wisdom in my life, says Joseph. Oh, thank you, darling. I'm going to have to redraw that Lucky 7. My guide said it needed to be modified a bit, so I'll represent that at another time, but it's just a little bit of a change. But yes, be lucky. You have to tell yourself you're lucky, and that's something you can actually look at. It's called feeling lucky. I did a talk a few weeks ago, but as I say, the symbol has to be modified slightly because I hadn't quite drawn it right. So I'll do that again. Anyway, thank you for that, Joe. So yeah, we need to rise above that feeling of being offended and realize the wisdom is that we somehow have ordered that into our lives so we don't judge ourselves, so that we can be kind to ourselves. So if you see that in your family, friends, work environment, give yourself value and don't take it personally. Validate your feelings and realize that people are all different, okay? Breathe out that feeling of being offended and instead have a nice feeling of acceptance. Accept that people, this is a lovely symbol I channeled through a while back, you've had it before, and you just draw this in your mind and think, I have acceptance. Acceptance that they are who they are. We are who we are. And if their values don't match ours, then it defines them as people who are acting according to their life experience, their life values, you know. It doesn't mean that they're having a go at us deliberately. It might just be that's who they are. You know, Wayne Dyer and other people I know of have said, if a person treats you badly, it doesn't mean you deserve it. It just defines them as people who treat people badly. And so if you think about that, you know, it's something that you can't be offended by. It's their experience. You know, you can't expect a 3-year-old to be acting like a 20-year-old. And some people evolve in different ways in different times. And so we've got to understand that there could be a big difference of life understandings and life values according to what they have experienced. So the only thing I find I'm really interested in is, why did I order it? And I don't take it personally. I ordered a lot of stuff in my life and I don't take it personally. I'm looking at it objectively. Now, what can I learn from that? And do I really need to feel offended? Do I really need to feel angry or upset? Anger's fear of not being in control. So, okay, what am I not feeling in control of? Let's change it. Let's have some action. Let's make some boundaries, wherever those boundaries need to be, without being offended. You keep your control. You keep your power when you're not offended. Oh, hi, Lucy. Thank you for joining us. So looking at this board here, yes, you're worried. You're not worried. You're not stressed if you let it go. Just let it go. It doesn't matter. And you know, sometimes we think something is really big in our lives and it's only that tiny, really. You know, when you think of the bigger scale of life's challenges and the world challenges, why are we so offended over such tiny things? I'll give you, take me back to that road rage incident I was talking about. The car wasn't damaged. I was fine. You know, I may have been his lesson when I smiled at him and I thought, yeah, he's obviously suffering. You know, you don't know if you're a gift to someone else, okay? Oh, hi, Vanda. Lovely you joined us. I love your name. So I've got a few Tived nouns that support this. Don't take it personally. You know, don't be offended. This goes beautifully with this, okay? And I may have repeated myself a couple of times on that. Oh, that's lovely. Thank you, Liz. I think it's Liz. Yes. Yes, it is. I can see your name now, darling. So don't take it personally is on the 10th of the 6th, 22. So you can always go to YouTube or my website. If you go to my website, that's going to be finishing sometime in May 25. So yeah, but in the means, I don't mind. I have to do that for a reason, but it's really great to have it on YouTube. So go to YouTube. All my stuff's on YouTube and you can find it there. Okay. 25th of the 11th, 24. Hi, Alex. Thank you for joining us. So we've got 25th of the 11th, 24 is let it go. Let it go. Let them be who they're going to be. Don't take it personally. Detach yourself from that reaction and you have control. Don't take it personally. 10th of the 6th, 22. I've got a few more dotted around on here. Don't sweat the small stuff. That's a Tived noun on the 29th of the 7th, 24. So go to YouTube for that. And don't sweat it. It's not worth your reaction. It's not worth bringing your emotional balloon down. We get so used to giving away our power to situations outside of us. And we think we're not in control. So we try and control it. We try and make sure they realise that they've done something against us that's unjust or it's wrong. And we think it's a form of value for ourselves. But it's just fear making you react that way. And if you can be compassionate to yourself and say you are in control and validate yourself, then you really are doing yourself a huge favour, because physically you'll help this area here, this yellow area here, the solar plexus. You'll help yourself to feel calmer. And when you feel calm, your whole central nervous system is calm. And then you'll be able to see the situation much clearer, much easier, much more objective. And you probably will actually attract much less of it by the law of attraction because you're feeling in control. You'll attract more of that into your life. So there's so many reasons why you need to rise above it and choose not to be offended. To have acceptance of a person that hasn't got the same values as you. Okay? Validate yourself at all times as you breathe out that offense from yourself, that reaction. Because in our minds, in our brains, we have synapses that form pathways, as most of you will know. Repeated actions, reactions will form a pathway. We need to change the pathway. We need to think differently, change the pathway to another pathway. We need to hear, oh, Del says she needs to hear this today. Thank you. It's really cool. We need to feel less offended so we are authentic to ourselves. If we are authentic, we become more ourselves and we become a better influence on other people as well. And it's almost like being protected from being offended by the whole world. If you can just stay authentic and validate yourself without being offended. If you become offended, if you start to take it personally, then you're just letting the situation bring you down. So you're foggy. You can't think clearly and you can't rise above it and you can't cosmic order, law of attraction. You can't order more of what you need because you're still feeling what you don't want. And that's brought you down. That's not good. Well, it's got its gifts, of course. I mean, talking about gifts, every situation is a gift. You may be another person's gift. You may be someone that they need to learn from. You know, there is a talk I did on that. I'll find it on here somewhere. I've dotted it around everywhere here. But you may be someone's gift. Oh, here it is. There we go. Written in pink. That's why I couldn't see it on my board. It's the 18th of the 3rd, 24. And it's one of the Tived nouns. So if you want to listen to that, that will kind of justify another angle of what we're talking about. You know, if you're an example to someone else, they may be looking for another way to deal with that situation. And you, with compassion, kindness and objectivity, has just shown them this is what you can do. You can be objective. You can rise above it and see it clearly. Or you might just choose love to heal that situation. I know lots of people that work in groups of people. And if one person has an opinion that's something different to another, I watch how they deal with it. And, you know, they're quite, once they realise there's a difference in opinion, they can validate each other. And when they validate each other, they honour each other. And then there's no issue, even if it's a different view. They're fine with it. And it really does, be the example. Exactly, Dale. Be the example. You want to show them how to behave. And sometimes you are that example. Or you watch a person in a group, as I say, a group setting, and you watch someone become that example. And how quickly people think, oh, there's no need to stress. I'm being validated with a different point of view. You know, if you look, if I say you're in a garden and you have people at different angles of that garden, they all see the garden, but differently. They all have different views of that garden. If we can just look at ourselves, our lives in that way, we might be standing here and see it clearly here, but they might be obstructed by something and they only see part of the garden. So give them a chance to evolve by being an example, like Dale says. You know, we need to rise above it to do that. And just for a second, there's no urgency about reacting. Quite often you can just take a breath, react, breathe it out. Have that feeling of calm before you react. And then you're in control. And quite a lot of the time, as I say, you're an example. And people need that, especially right now when they're lost or they're feeling, as I say, fearful. And a lot of people, that's not a weakness. Fear isn't a weakness. It's a condition that a conditioned response that we have. And sometimes, as I say, it's for a survival, but quite often we learn it. We learn it from other people. So let's be aware that that fear can be in the way. Don't be offended. Don't take it personally. Whether it's family, work, friends, neighbours. I've got a thing I used to say to my children actually is, if you're offended, don't take it personally, but don't take it. That means you're setting boundaries. Don't take it personally, but move away from something if it offends you and it hurts you in some way or when you're in danger, of course. Don't be offended, by that. Don't take it personally, but don't take it. It means you're taking charge of that situation gently, with ease, not with fear, okay? An affirmation for you guys, which I think would be lovely. So you can write this down, okay? I'm interested but not involved. Now that's one of the things my clients love me saying to them. I'm interested but not involved as to why he's behaving that way or she's behaving that way. I'm interested but not involved. Means you're not dragged down and you can think clearly when you're here. And you're interested as to why they are behaving that way, but you don't have to fix it. You can just let them be who they're going to be. I'm interested but not involved. And it's really a nice, relaxing, easy feeling inside you when you release from that tension. I need to fix this. And I need to be angry and I need to sort this out. And I need to say there's an injustice in the family. You want to protect another member of the family was against someone else. You're trying so hard to fix it. It is not good. It is not a good thing, okay? Because you are wound up, your central nervous system's wound up, and it's not good for your body, your mind, or what you attract into your life. So, I'm interested, but not involved in why people are ordering what they order in their lives. It's a very wise thing to do. You can help them, you can love them, but you don't have to feel that you have to fix everybody. Let them be on their soul journey. Their soul journey is their own. And if we can be there for them, that's lovely. Be interested but not involved. It's the only way to really be able to help them because you're not being dragged down by their emotion, their feelings, their fear. Okay? Which is lovely. Oh, thanks for the hearts, guys. And we need to just realise that some people have different values from ourselves and accept that. Acceptance brings peace. Write that down. Acceptance brings peace. Let's have that feeling of peace. Let's realise it's not personal. Let's accept who they are and maybe be an influence on them. That would be lovely. Oh, so Annie says she's going to listen later. Lots of love. Oh, thank you, darling. Lots of love to all of you on here. I really miss not being on here, and I love Mondays, and I'm just glad to share this Monday with you. So I think, detach from the reaction. Be in control and keep practicing this, guys. I mean, it's not something you can do straight away. You've learned it. We've all learned the other reaction. So just think of ourselves as rising above it. We're not better than anyone else. We're just becoming more aware of why, they've done it for a reason. We don't have to unpick it. We don't have to understand it. If we can talk to them, that's fine, but we don't. It doesn't have to be fixed. You just have to accept and be an example and just be love. Just be love. Let love heal it. And realise that if something's happening on the outside, maybe go inside and ask yourself, what is it I need to give to myself? What am I missing from this? Am I missing value? Am I missing validation? Give yourself validation. Am I missing honor? Honor yourself. What is not here on the outside of me being shown, I will give to myself. So there's another affirmation I used to say to everyone. I give myself the things I need from others. Write that down. I give myself the things I need from others. If something on the outside, someone, some situation is not giving me what I need, I give it to myself. And do you know the irony of that is that you will attract more of it. Hi, Anne, I'm sure you know this too. You attract what you give to yourself. It's lovely. So love yourself. Accept yourself. And accept all those moments before that we ever reacted in a different way. Okay? It's nice to see you, Anne. Thank you for being here, darling. So I hope everyone's happy where they are at the moment, and I hope the weather's good and you can get out and you can enjoy your week and almost pretend, spring's nearly here. As someone said to me, I look like a spring flower because I had my yellow on. I love it. So worry less, stress less. Don't be offended. Don't take it personally when things or people aren't really on your side or reflecting your values. Value yourself, honor yourself, and give yourself what you need from other people. And breathe out the rest. It doesn't matter. Don't sweat the small stuff. Half the time it's not as important as you think it is. So I'm going to leave you now because the time is marched on. I will be back next week with a talk called Change Our Mind. And that's going to be little things that I do for myself and how you can change your mind over what's going on, how you can see it differently. Okay, so please share this with everybody. Look up the tea with Nans I've given you. You can always go onto YouTube and find all my meditations, my talks, my tea with Nans. They're all on there. And just have a really good week and choose not to be offended the whole week. Just be mindful of it. If you find yourself being riled, just think, no, that's taking my emotional balloon down. I'm not going to react. No, I'm not taking it personally. Give yourself what's lacking and validate yourself and accept them for who they are. They're a great gift to you, really. I did a talk called Pollyannas in the blue section of my Nan Talks, and that was in 19th of the 4th, 21. And it's really nice to get the gifts from each situation. There were always positives from every negative. So maybe look that up as well. I really am going now. I shall see you all next week. Lots of love to all of you, and give yourself a big namaste hug from me right now. I'm sending you all love. See you next week, guys, and have a really good week where you're not offended. Please come back to me and tell me how you feel, or go to nancyfinch@hotmail.co.uk to email me your wonderful results from that. Okay? Oh, thank you, Sophie. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Please share this, and lots of love, as I say. I'll see you next week. All right. Take care, everybody. Thanks, Val. Bye, everyone. Lots of love.